Hello, LifeVantage. It's Darren Jensen coming to you today, again from our Elite Academy in Orlando, Florida. We're here at the Coronado Springs Hotel on Disney World property, and we've got a wonderful Elite Academy going on. And one of the things that we just talked about and launched today was our Omega Plus product. Omega Plus will be, is our newest product. We're going to be adding that into our Vitality stack and several of our other stacks. It's available today. Distributor price is $40 with 30 points. So if you haven't had a chance to get any of it, make sure you go buy it. If you're here at the Elite Academy, run to the store and get it. For those of you that are watching us that are not here at the Elite Academy, be sure and put down in the comments section your name, your city and state and country where applicable, and we'll do a drawing a little bit later this week, and we'll see if we can't get you a free bottle of the product. So definitely make sure you comment and put down that information, and we'll get you into the drawing. Now today, I've got Dr. Hoadley Harris with me, and as you know, maybe, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago that I interviewed you, and we had a wonderful time. Dr. Harris shared a bunch of really interesting information with us then, but he just got off the stage. Actually, we're doing this right after our science and technology session, and he was just on the stage talking about the importance of fish oils and particularly omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. So I thought I'd invite him back to share some of that information with us today. Now, before we start talking about the product, let me just give you a little bit of background information on Dr. Harris. He's a family medicine physician who is in full-time practice in Fargo, North Dakota. It's got to be pretty cold up there in Fargo.
It's a little chilly, yes.
It's probably already winter there, and it's summer here in Florida. He's been practicing medicine since 1985, and a large part of his practice focuses on anti-aging and wellness, in which LifeVantage products are an integral element. He trained at the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine and completed a 3-year family medicine residency at the Sioux Falls, South Dakota Family Medicine Residency Program. Dr. Harris is a diplomat of the American Board of Family Medicine, and he is a member of the American Academy of Family Physicians. He also lectures extensively about psychopharmacology of depression, bipolar disorder, and ADHD. He was introduced to NRF2 science and a product called Protandim in 2014. And with that background, thanks for joining me again, Dr.
Thank you for having me.
And just wanted to say your presentation was wonderful today. It was well received.
Thank you, very much appreciated.
He was pronouncing some words up there that all of us were like, wow. When you get into EPA, DHA, they're all very long words. I'm glad that they have acronyms to them. Let's start off. Many people are probably like me. I've heard a lot about the importance of fish oils, the importance of omega-3 fatty acids, but just in general, I know that there's an imbalance in the oils that, the types of oils that we eat, and that we need to bring those more back into a balance, but I really don't have much of a background on why. Can you kind of tell us from a layman's standpoint why, and then maybe we could get into the science behind it?
Absolutely. I think it needs to start with an understanding of the omega-6, omega-3 ratio. When humans evolved, our diets originally contained a ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s of roughly 1:1. But today, Western diets have completely changed, and we have an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 15 to 16:1. So clearly the problem is that we have way too many omega-6s in our diet and not enough omega-3s. The significance of that is that high ratio is associated with the pathogenesis, that is the development of multiple disease processes. Omega-6s tend to create inflammation and a variety of other problems, whereas omega-3 have anti-inflammatory and beneficial effects. The reality is you need both omega-6s and omega-3s, but it has to be in the right ratio.
Okay. Well, and also since this is a science one, I should start off by saying that any of the things that we talk about are not, we don't want to imply that our products treat, cure, mitigate. I can't remember all the full statement of that, any type of disease or medical claim. But with that, let me just ask you. So you said that over time our diets have changed.
Mm-hmm.
What did we used to eat that gave us so much omega-3 to where you're at that 1-to-1?
Well, if you look at the paleo diet, the Paleolithic diet, that primarily contained berries, nuts, low-fat protein from animal sources, and a reasonable amount of carbohydrates. And that afforded a good ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. But as we have evolved, unfortunately, we consume a lot of packaged foods, we consume fast foods, and we cook with vegetable oils like corn, sunflower, safflower, and soy and cottonseed oils, and those things contain high amounts of omega-6s.
Okay. All right, well, with that, so we have an imbalance just due to, I mean, our diets have changed. We're now eating, as you said, a lot more packaged food. I don't know if you're like me, but you know, I've been trying to move away from packaged food, and it's tough.
It is,
especially if you're on limited time. I've started ordering out these food things that are delivered to your home, and so I've had to go and say, all right, so I'm going to have this paleo something diet delivered to the house. That's helped a little bit to have it all delivered.
Absolutely.
But it's challenging to try to get that ratio back in. Why don't you talk to us about, why is it important to have omega-3s in our diet?
Okay. Well, if you add omega-3s, and I mean one of the reasons our ratios are skewed is because we don't eat enough seafood, number one. But the importance of omega-3s is that it helps balance the ratio of omega-6 and omega-3 such that your body is not subject to increased inflammation and all of the pathological process that go with it. Now, if you look at the benefits of omega-3s, I think you have to look at specific organ systems. The blood vessels or vasculature, the brain, the heart, the eye and the retina, and actually on the cell nucleus. And if we break those down, we know that as far as the blood vessels are concerned, omega-3s reduce inflammation because they're incorporated into the cell structures of what's called the endothelial cells. And it also promotes endothelial function because it increases nitric oxide release. As far as the heart, on the other hand, is concerned, when you consume the omega-3s, EPA and DHA, it is incorporated into the cell membranes of the heart and the blood vessels. And what that results in is a reduction in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. The reason being, it makes the blood vessels more elastic. It increases systemic arterial compliance. That lowers blood pressure, and that's good for the heart. The data to date shows strong concordant evidence that omega-3s are bioactive compounds, and they in fact reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. EPA, one of the main omega-3s, when you increase the levels in the serum with EPA from supplementation, you reduce inflammatory factors, you improve blood cholesterol and fat numbers, and you see a reduction in at least some specific cardiovascular events. So it's very good for your heart. The eye and the retina is obviously our most important sense, vision. And we know that the omega-3s are very important in the health and in disease processes. We know that deficiency of omega-3s leads to reduced visual acuity in animal studies. The bottom line is that DHA, one of the omega-3s, is the most prevalent omega-3 in the brain and the retina, more so than any other body tissue. It's an integral factor in the photoreceptors, a structural component of the photoreceptors. Those are the sensory cells that allow one to see. The rods and the cones are the specific ones. If we consider the cell nucleus, we're talking about organ systems, but all the organs are composed of cells. So what is the effect on the actual cell and cell nucleus? And the reality is that omega-3s bind to nuclear receptors. They also regulate transcription factors and thereby modify genetic expression. So what we're talking about here is nutrigenomics, how supplements and food additives affect the expression of your genes. Omega-3s are most certainly a bioactive compound.
So in this case, I'm really taking all that and boiling it down. It's a nutrigenomic, so omega-3s are nutrigenomic, which makes them biohacking. So they're a biohacking compound that is great for the cardiovascular system, the eyes, and the brain.
And the brain as well,
Yeah.
yes. In fact, when you look at the brain function, we know that deficiencies of omega-3s not only reduce visual acuity in animals, but it reduces brain function, cognition. But the more interesting thing are the human studies, and that shows that omega-3s actually improve brain structure and function. And the study I'm referring to is done by Whitty and Associates, and they took people ages 50 to 79, 26-week randomized controlled trial, and they showed a statistically significant improvement in their cognitive function as well as the structure via imaging of their brain and volume of the brain. And so their conclusion was that omega-3 supplementation has very positive effects on the brain function of older, healthy adults. And there's one other study by a researcher named Zhang, and he did an animal study. And what he showed was that omega-3s protected the brain from ischemic injury. That means injury from reduced blood flow. And the really interesting thing about it is that he showed that it protected the brain by activating the NRF2 pathway. He showed a concordant increase in an antioxidant enzyme, hemooxygenase 1, and his conclusions was that omega-3s are strongly protective when it comes to the brain.
All right, thank you. With that, again, just wanted to clearly point out that we're talking about omega-3 oils in general, not necessarily pointing those results to our product. Again, because those are some powerful results from omega-3s. Let's talk about the omega plus that we have. It comes from fish oil. And maybe if you could tell us a little bit about maybe the fish oil, why is fish oil or this form of fish oil different than the other forms that we have?
Well, when we look at the over-the-counter market, we know that levels of your main omega-3s, EPA and DHA, vary widely both within and between brands, despite what they may publish on their labels. And so when the goals of supplementation really are to have a supplement that has a lack of any contaminants, and those can be many things like radioactivity, heavy metals, plastics, PCBs.
And let's talk about that, because I know that when my wife has been pregnant and they're always said, hey, don't eat this type of fish, don't eat this. Why is it that the fish would be contaminated with these toxins?
Well, it's the reality that our ocean fish supply is contaminated. Radioactivity from nuclear testing in the past, from nuclear power plant meltdowns. The plastics is interesting. That's a huge problem. All those plastic water bottles that we have. Fish consume those things, and the plastic acts as a sponge and absorbs environmental contaminants. The other thing is that once the fish consumes the plastic, it breaks down, and toxic additives used in the plastic manufacture can leach into the fish. And then industrial pollution is primarily responsible for the heavy metal, mercury and lead pollution, as well as PCBs. And so those are the main reasons we worry about our fish supply.
Okay. And I would imagine that, other things that fish eat comes up through the entire food chain. You could have stuff on the bottom of the ocean eating things that are probably picking up these contaminants eaten by other fish, and then those fish are eaten, and It just
Right.
passes through the entire food chain.
Absolutely, and the biggest fish has the most contaminants.
Well, talk to us about the fish. Why specifically from fish oils, and what sets these apart?
Well, you want fish that come from cold waters in the north. Number one, the contamination level is generally less than in the more warmer southern areas of the planet. And the other thing is that cold water means that the fish stay alive have to generate more fat for insulation. So your yield of omega-3s is going to be considerably greater. And so you want to make sure that your fishery is harvesting those kind of fish and then controlling how they are processed thereafter. In our particular case, we get our fish oils primarily from cod and pollock, and those are from Norway, where the water is obviously cold. And what happens is that the fish, when they're caught, they are immediately filleted, and so the meat is frozen and sent to a grocery store. But the entire rest of the fish is processed in a certain controlled way, and the fish oil is extracted. And then once the oil is extracted, it's checked for contaminants and purified, and the EPA and DHA levels are confirmed.
So, if I understand this right, you have a fishing boat out there, and I believe we can actually trace this back to the actual boat that it was processed
That's
on,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
So you have a fishing boat. It's out, and its main purpose is to catch fish, right? To sell fillets and whatnot. And what would normally be unused, the head, the tail, I guess the parts that were not filleted, those were all processed in order to not be wasteful. I mean, if you're going to harvest an animal, you want to, I guess, use everything on it. And so what you're saying is that we take those pieces and it's processed. The oil is removed actually on the boat, right?
Yes, correct. And then further purified once on shore.
But the initial processing occurs right on the boat, which is pretty incredible. I mean, it's because they go out, I'm assuming, for a few weeks. I watch Deadliest Catch. I know it's with crabs, but it's not quite with fish. But I'm sure they stay out for a certain period of time. They process it, and I like the fact that we help so that nothing goes to waste, you know, and the fact that you can trace it back to the original chip. So okay, well that's great information.
I think that, you know, why do we use fish oil to get EPA and DHA? Well, number one, fish have the highest concentrations of those things. If you look at plant sources, it's true the body takes one of the omega-3s, ALA, and synthesizes EPA and DHA, but that's a very meager process at best. It's hard to get the levels that you want. And then plants are poor sources of DHA and EPA as well. And so that's why we have to use fish to get the products that we want. And we don't want them from GMO, genetically modified organisms, such as algae. We want it from fish that are natural and not contaminated.
Wonderful. Well, I know that our time is running out. Dr. Harris, is there anything that you think that we haven't talked about that might be interesting to our audience?
You know, I think that the most important thing I can reiterate from all of this is that omega-3s are in fact bioactive, and they change the way your genetics work, but they are most certainly helpful for your cardiovascular health, for your brain health, for your eye health, and it makes your nuclei, that is the cells, work and express their genes in a positive, protective fashion.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Harris, thank you for sharing this information. You did, again, a wonderful job on stage presenting it. And thank you to each of you that spent some time with us today to learn a little bit more about our Omega Plus product. Again, if you'd like, put down your name, your city, your state, and country where applicable in the comment section. And we'll do a drawing a little bit later this week, and we'll see if you can win a bottle of Omega Plus. Anyway, we will continue to have additional interviews. Hopefully we'll get, how many more do we have, Dana? One or two? One more while we're out here. And we look forward to joining you then. But thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.